I was told that Brad Holmes had a failure of a draft. I was told that.
Stop listening to people.
I was told that
Austin Mock
by Austin Mock
of The Athletic.
of The Athletic. And I have it in front of me right
he
here.
Says it is law.
He gave the Lions draft a grade of F. Overall, the worst draft in the NFL.
F.
Quote, it's fair to question whether I should doubt the Lions' draft strategy after the run they've been on the past few years. But of their 7 picks, 4 were considered reaches by our consensus board, including all 3 in the top 70. They also lost quite a bit of value in the trade market, highlighted by their big move up the board for wide receiver Isaac Tesla. They lost the 4th most value in trades during the draft. 4th, okay. And 3 teams below them either gained a first-rounder or had the chance to draft Travis Hunter. The players may wind up being good fits, but I still think this was a bad process.
You know, here's the thing. I lost respect for The Athletic today. And I know we're not allowed to say that because we all hold The Athletic to a standard of excellence. I lost some respect for The Athletic today just on that piece, and I'm serious. And Neil, a lot of it comes down to what you just said. Can you read the end of that again? Do you mind me reading the end of that again? Because I think...
the last sentence?
Yeah, the last sentence, please.
Players, quote, the players may wind up being good fits, but I still think this was a bad process.
You're a fucking moron. You are. Listen to what you just... No, I want you to think about what he just said. They may be good fits.
Right. But it's an F.
But it's an F. My work's here done. Like, what's the next topic? Spenny, what do we got next? No, listen to how dumb... No, listen to how dumb that is. They may be good fits, right? A team that's already here. A team that doesn't need a quote-unquote superstar, right? They need pieces, which is the way you build a franchise. They need pieces. They need some continuance as well, which all these guys could be pieces. And Neil, number one, I think draft grades are awful. They're terrible. Let's have the conversation in 2 years. Let's talk about this in 2 years. I'll be the first guy to say, if none of these guys said this, hey, you know what, that Mock guy, holy shit, maybe he was right. I'd be the first guy to say it, okay? Draft grades in and of themselves are pathetic. But if his reasoning is, these guys may be good fits, but I'll give you an F, I don't even need to add anything to it. You're a moron. You're an idiot. Like, really, what am I missing? Am I missing something here?
Hold on, we got my boy Brandon Katz in his prime in the chat. Brad Holmes failed to address the lack of pass rush by drafting a fat D tackle with the first pick and an Egyptian who's played 4 years of football. Sounds a little racist, but yeah.
Wow. It's almost like
and an Egyptian.
Every NFL team doesn't need a big fat guy to put in the middle of your lineup. That's the
at
league
the defensive
today.
tackle position.
That's the league today.
That is your pass rush. It's not him that does it. But the reason your pass rush is good is because you have a guy in the front, to quote Terry Foster, that has, quote, a big ass, unquote, in the front.
And he's not playing every 3 downs. Like, I don't know how old you are, Mr. Katz, but in my generation, a lot of these guys did play 3 downs. You're not doing it anymore. You go in there, huff and puff for 2 plays, go get your oxygen, and then come back in the next series after you get yourself your 3 and out or whatever the case may be. That's the National Football League today. Most of the problems that I think people have, Neil, I'm going to say it, is just a basic misunderstanding about what the NFL is today. That is the, and I'm sorry if that sounds condescending, that is the NFL today. You have pieces up front. Justin is going to come in. He might be our 3rd down specialist. Neil and I are going to play 1st and 2nd down. Spenny and KG and Justin are coming in on 3rd down. Neil, you might stay in on 3rd down. I need to sit it out. I might be in on 3rd down. That's the National Football League today. It's a rotation up front. This is a guy that's going to be but a part of that rotation. Why people... Now, if you say, I don't like the guy, I don't think he's going to pan out, I'm cool.
Yes.
I don't have any argument to that.
Thank you.
I don't. Like, if that happens, I'll be the first guy to say, wow, 2 years from now, holy shit, he hasn't done anything.
Is it because he's Egyptian that he won't pan out?
Right, and same thing. And like the Egyptian magician, I don't know. I have no idea. I know what people I trust think about him. But this is a guy, when you consider Brad Holmes again, this is a guy that's going to help this team down the line. Not so much next year. Be a part of it? Yeah, surely, I hope so, especially Williams. But this is a guy that's going to help the team down the line. And even if he hasn't, what are we talking about when you're talking about the Egyptian magician? What are we talking about?
6th-round pick.
Yeah.
Who cares?
But my thing about it, Sean, is like to say they lost the 4th most value in trades during the. What if the player hits? Then I would say you gain value in your trades. That's what I would say. The bottom line is this. And look, I like The Athletic. Let me put it all out there. I enjoy The Athletic. I pay for it like everybody else pays for it. That is my newspaper that I read. I do enjoy it. They do a great job. Great job. I love The Athletic. But Austin Mock here, bro, like for real. Yeah. To say the Lions, to say Brad Holmes had a grade of F in a draft.
It's
Austin,
crazy.
you understand there's nowhere else to go for the Lions. That every single piece, every single spot is filled with the Lions, which is why they go 15-2, which is why they go to the NFC Championship, which is why they're looking to overcome the final hurdle and cash in a Super Bowl. Every other spot is filled. They have no choice but to look long term. And then when you look at the pieces that they added and guard play, and they're taking a roll of the dice on a third receiver, right? By all accounts, even if Tesla works, if you keep everybody, which you already have Amon-Ra, if you do re-sign Jameson Williams, he is a ceiling of a number 3.
You're saying publicly that a team that put a big premium on the trenches, failed.
Right.
I'm sorry, you're a fucking idiot.
Hold on, a position of need at
No,
that. You got
really?
3 major guys coming off the books next year.
You're an idiot. And again, this takes me back to something draft grades are cute to look at. If you put anything into them, it's on you. It is, okay? So let's reconvene 2 years from now. Much like we had the conversation about Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell. Anybody want to redo? Anybody show of hands? Anybody? You want to redo on that?
Oh, no, I thought you said redo my take. Sorry.
No. Yeah, really. Do you no Jack Campbell, no Jahmyr Gibbs? Anybody? Okay, didn't think so. Other than the human being that was incapable of quantifying his dislike for Jack Campbell.
Right.
Because he just dislikes Jack Campbell. And I asked him like multiple. Remember we talked to that Yahoo last week? Can you quantify it for me? Can you put it in numbers that I can understand? He didn't start his rookie year. Well, actually, he did 12 of 17 games. But don't let facts.
Out of position, too, because he was so good they wanted to get him on the field.
Right. So this is the and KG, this is where when people were hammering Terrion Arnold, you and I had this conversation last October. Mm-hmm. Okay,
still having it.
Let's wait.
Yeah.
Let's have this conversation next February about Terrion Arnold. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that people are going to look at the 2024 draft a little differly. Come,
Sean, and I don't even think you have to do that.
We don't.
Right now, you don't have to do that. His floor is a CB2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Second cornerback. His floor. That's what he is. A starting CB2. That's his floor. I truly 100% believe that I've seen enough out of him to know that is his floor. And guess what? If he never improves, which you don't really have any reason to think that he won't, because we talked about this. The Terrion Arnold of September was not the Terrion Arnold of October, which wasn't of November, which wasn't of December. So with that being said, if you said in the NFL, if the NFL came out and said, all right, everybody, new wrinkle for the draft next year. At pick 20, we guarantee a CB2. This cornerback is a guaranteed CB2. What do you think the trade market would look like for that?
Neil,
at 20.
No, you're right. And this is what, Neil, this is why I'm with you. I like The Athletic because I don't feel like The Athletic tries to troll me.
Yeah.
They're meat and potatoes.
And Elle in the chat says that. I wouldn't pay The Athletic to wipe my behind trashy, deceitful opinion journalism, not an ounce of integrity. Elle, I disagree with you 1,000%.
But in this case,
this is sketch.
I really believe that for the first time, The Athletic's really trying to troll me.
It's clickbait. Yeah.
And that's what makes me, I stand by it. I kind of lost some respect for The Athletic. Pride yourself as being the professional in a world of hot takes, okay?
Right.
I mean, and we are. We're living in a world of hot takes. You don't do that. I think somebody was trying to be the hot takest guy in the room.
Yeah,
And
that's all it was.
That's too bad.
Either you just
I
don't like the
expect that from
Lions,
them.
you just don't like the Lions in the direction that they go, or you clickbait. Like,
But-
you're not going to agree with every writer on The Athletic.
Right, and here's the thing. Even if you feel that they earned an F, your reasoning for it is so flawed.
Yeah.
Maybe they're fits. What? Well, if they're fits, how could you call it an F?
Right, that warrants at least a C if they're fits.
You know what? You and I read the same piece last week, Neil. I think it was in Yahoo, where somebody said there wasn't anything sexy about this draft. This was an eat your vegetables draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yahoo
Meat
said
and
that.
potatoes.
Yeah. Come on, this is good for you. You know, I know you want
I don't
that-
want it.
I know you want that ice cream sundae. Listen, boy, you're not leaving that damn table until you eat those carrots. Like I can hear my old man.
The trenches are the
And
carrots
then
of the
we would
draft.
have the stare down. And then and my dad won every time. It was like, well, if I want to go play, I'd fire those carrots in my mouth. That's what this draft was. And it's good for you. It is. It's good for you.
Makes you feel good.
And Tesla could be like a Cherry's Jubilee.
Right?
He could be. Now, he could be, Praling's ice cream. Could. But the person making the dessert, every other dessert they've made has been really, really
Pretty
good.
damn good.
It's like my mom told me about Mexican fried ice cream, and I was like, that sounds like the most disgusting thing I've ever had.
Psych.
Hey, wait a second. This is pretty good.
Was I lied to?
Yeah, I think I was lied to. I
Only
was.
by the Michigan fans.
But anyway, let's give it time. Nobody wants to. We become such an instant gratification society, and I think we pick and choose what we want to believe. And Neil, you said it best. I don't know how a human being, a living, breathing organism, could sit back and say, I don't trust Brad Holmes. It doesn't mean he's been infallible. There have been mistakes. There's no doubt about it. They're few and far between.
Yeah, not very many.
They're exceptions to a far greater overall rule. So that's the only drawback about draft time for me is just people do not understand, especially when you're talking about Brad Holmes. This is not a guy that drafted for 2025.
No.
He didn't
he
draft for
doesn't.
2020.
And he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Tells
There
you
was
that
not-
every
He's
time.
Bill Parcells, man.
There was nothing to draft for 2025. Nope. There's nothing to draft for.
He says it every time. He uses free agency to fill needs and the draft to acquire talent.
There's nothing to draft for 2020. What position? Oh, we better get a tackle. Someone's got to push Penei Sewell.